silent epidemic where there's all these massive food manufacturers that use something called the sweet spot.
This is when food manufacturers pack in just the right amount of fat, sugar, and salt to make their product as addicting as possible.
They'll go and market that product to kids oftentimes, and it's all the products that sit on our shelves.
So Tara went online and researched from food journals that were available how to make a candy with less sugar.
I got a gummy bear mold off of Amazon and the ingredients from just a local grocery store at that point, and then began recipe testing in my kitchen.
The first iteration of Smart Sweets was a low sugar gummy bear that she called Stevie Sweets.
We had about 4 months like hunkering down to get from something that was just scratch ingredients to actually something that was like, wow, this makes me feel confident that this idea is possible about kicking sugar out of candy.
With a recipe in hand, she was ready to take it to the factory, but there was one problem. She needed about $100,000 to get the first batch made.
I had no assets, like nothing to my name, had a 2009 Honda Fit car. Put my Honda Fit on the line as like the asset that I had, and took out life insurance to be able to get the debt financing, and that was able to get me through my first inventory run to launch. I knew if the business didn't work, that at that point I would have $105K in debt financing to my name.
She knew the risk involved, but found it more risky to not pursue something she so deeply believed would work.
Worst case scenario, I have some debt. I'm living on the couch, but I knew that I gave it my all, and the world took me to where I was meant to go with it.
With her $105,000 loan, she was able to create her first batch of inventory with a co-packer. But now the pressure was on to get the inventory sold in stores.
In the beginning, it was really hard to get someone to take a chance on Smart Sweets.
One of the first stores that she got Smart Sweets in, a Safeway in North Vancouver, took a lot of persistence. She called, emailed, and showed up at the store around 50 times before she got a response.
When the first retailer said yes, and I went into the store, but before doing that, even did like 10 donuts around the parking lot because I was so nervous to go in and felt like such an imposter.
But she worked through her imposter syndrome, getting into 1,300 retail stores in the first year and hiring her first 10 employees. For their first retail launch, she went around to each store herself and stocked the shelves with the first batch of inventory.
What do you want to tell the world about Smart Sweets launch day?
Gummy bears will get you through it.
For my initial interview with Tara, I was like, okay, I can tell that like this brand really does like have legs and it's gonna go somewhere. And like I started working without even knowing what my salary was because I believed in it so much.
Not long after, Smart Sweets had their first big break when a news producer called, wanting Tara to share her story.
We were in like 40 stores, super small, and this reporter from Fox Business in the States reached out and was like, hey, I'd love to feature Smart Sweets. Will you be in New York soon? I had no plans to go to New York, but to seize the moment, I was like, yeah, I'll be there like in 3 days actually, if that works. And so went to New York, filmed this segment on Smart Sweets, and they aired it. And then I got an email 10 minutes later from the global buyer at Whole Foods saying, hey, would you be interested in a global launch with us? Yeah.
Had you reached out to Whole Foods at that point?
Yeah, I had like sent emails, called the head office, sent the product. I think at one point tried showing up to the HQ, things like that.
And in 2018, they launched nationwide with Whole Foods in the US, with one condition. They had to change their packaging from the white background to a more colorful look that you see today.
And that was really the catalyst for us growing quickly in the States and getting into other retailers like Kroger and Target and Costco.
But with such fast growth, they needed more money to hire people and create more inventory. But finding the right partners wasn't exactly an easy task.
I couldn't get any more debt because I didn't have anything else to put against it. One of our first retail partners was like, hey, I want you to come to our headquarters. We're really interested in investing in the company. This was like a big deal. I was like, wow, like, you really want to like give me money for Smart Sweets, and like you get it. And so I went to their headquarters and they were like, so we'd like to offer you $100,000 for 40% of the company, and if you don't take this, there are other companies that are going to move faster and have more money than you, and you need to take this if Smart Sweets, you want it to be what it's going to be. And I was getting so many no's from other people on investing in the company, and so shoot, like I do really need this money and I really respect them, and I ended up saying no. If I hadn't said no, I would have not had control of my company.
In the end, she found found an investor and raised $3 million as her final round of investments for Smart Suites. She also went on the Canadian version of Shark Tank, where she found that all of the investors wanted to put money into Smart Suites. The product sold well in stores, so they were able to expand to 18,000 stores nationwide, including Target, Walmart, and Kroger.
So in kind of the 4-year span, we did 2 in our first year, then 16, then 60, then 125. And as that was happening, I think because I had really visualized that from day one, it didn't feel crazy or fast. It just felt like this is exactly how it needs to be happening.
In fact, Tara had already visualized her company succeeding and even created a screensaver on her computer to remind her of this goal.
From the start, did you have a vision for the company to become as big as it has?
Day one, when I was in my kitchen, I started reciting to myself in my head and saying, okay, Smart Suites is a global company. Like, Smart Suites has revolutionized candy, so I would talk about it as if it had already happened. And so, you know, in my head, I'd be like, okay, I'm teleporting myself 10 years in the future, and Smart Suites is the global leader. Candy that is low sugar, that you can feel good about having as an everyday snack, is the norm. That was really powerful because it put into my subconscious that no, Smart Suites is this, it's all happened, it's just a matter of reverse executing on that now.
After 5 years building Smart Suites, she sold a majority stake to TPG Growth for $360 million. But Tara is still the largest individual shareholder and is still involved in the company today.
Smart Suites was my life. I was very much that 5 a.m. to 3 a.m. sleeping in the office many days, never took a weekend off. Not because of a choice thing, it was because I genuinely felt so passionate that I wanted to be in it and doing that and giving it my all, because I felt so lucky that I somehow had this opportunity to bring this idea to life that the world trusted me with.
Growing a business like this isn't easy. It was a lot of late nights, but to Tara, this was the opportunity of a lifetime, and she was happy to put the work in.
Growing up, I was always that person, I think, who was felt underestimated, didn't really have any talents or abilities in athletics or school. And when I stumbled on Smart Suites and then started building it and it was resonating, I was like, wow, me, I actually have this ability. I felt so grateful. I didn't want to squander that, and so I gave every ounce of myself.
And today, Smart Suites is still creating new products that kick sugar out of candy. And Tara found that following her intuition was really important in making Smart Suites a success.
I believed with certainty that the vision would happen, but it was my own self-struggle of being can I make this happen, that I struggled with. And with Smart Suites, so many moments, if I just looked at numbers and logic, I would have went a different path. If you don't believe it in your head that it's possible, then it's not possible. Take away what you think is capable. What's your vision of just in general? If you could just dream, it can be that, but you need to first believe that to be true, otherwise it won't happen.
Hope that you guys enjoyed learning about the story of Smart Suites.